Hi, hello, hi, welcome to Your Brain On, a new series that I'm starting because I'm a real serious, honest-to-God YouTuber now. Gotta have something to look forward to, right? This is a series where we are going to take a look at the lyrical content of an artist or band's discography and analyze it to sort of try to come to conclusions on the common ethos and general message being spread throughout their music. I figured that we could kick off this series with cheekface. They are a band whose lyrics uniquely capture an abstracted view of the landscape of social America in a way that I haven't really seen anybody else accomplish. So what we will do is this. We'll do sort of a quick establishing of context, get everyone familiar with a short history of the band, and then we are going to look at the lyrics of, let's say, 3 songs, analyze them, and then derive our own conclusions on what the message being relayed might be. I will do my best to functionally and appropriately analyze the lyrics at hand, and then you can come to your own conclusions as well. We can kind of do this together. You can agree or disagree with me. Discourse. This is the video where it's okay for me to be wrong. Who is Cheekface? Let's find out. Cheekface consists of 3 members, being Greg Katz on vocals and guitar, Amanda Tannen on the bass, and Mark Edwards on the drums. Mark Edwards also professionally goes by the name Echo, which is fucking awesome. Katz graduated from the University of California and worked as an A&R for various record labels until establishing his own label, New Professor Music. Amanda Tannen is classically trained on the cello and also had previously played in the band Stella Star, which is a New York-based indie rock band. They met through mutual connections sometime around 2017, started writing songs together, brought in Mark Edwards to play drums, and boom, Cheekface was born. And yeah, this section is pretty much just me repeating information that I found from the Wikipedia page, but I did feel like it was important because I wanted to establish a little bit of context, fill anybody in that might be unfamiliar. I don't think that's such a bad thing. And I thought a lot about how I wanted to format this series. If you're familiar with my video essays, then you know that I tend to get real wordy and rather extensive with things, but I think that's a decent intro, so let's get into it. We'll start at the beginning.
Nice town, a lot of anarchists. We're taking 2 of everything at the 7-Eleven.
Dry Heat, Nice Town was written by Greg and Mandy after experiencing the Women's March in LA, and it was released in May of 2018, a rather tumultuous year depending on who you ask. We can start our analysis before even looking at the lyrics, because in an interview, Greg said this about the song. I think the only way a more utopian society can happen is through mass protest movements. The central question of the song is, what would happen in LA if a public demonstration resulted in a socialist utopia? And the answer is, there would be free green juice at 7-Eleven. So right away, we can understand that this song is founded upon a progressive perspective of the efficiency and the necessity of mass protest movements against social injustice, but also how intentions can be blurred and become skewed, resulting in the fight for the right cause for the wrong reasons in a way. The chorus painting this picture of free green juice at 7-Eleven that Greg uses as his example embodies this pretty well, saying that people in LA, they like green juice. The people in LA like green juice. That's their thing. And so in their mind, a socialist or anarchist takeover of the government means free green juice. That's what we like. We have to pay for it. And now it'll be free because we've taken over dissolved government. So this is solving a bit of a trivial problem in their lives, ignoring the actually desired outcome of this hypothetical utopia and the marginalized groups that it would most benefit relative to the current socioeconomic standards of today. And I think that on paper, you can maybe view this as a tongue-in-cheek critique or satire of American liberalism, because it kind of is, but it's not condemning a progressive movement. It's just kind of pointing out how weird a certain facet of it is. The first verse of the song is humorous in its writing and delivery, but it also establishes why social unrest exists and how it can sometimes feel bleak attempting to address systemic dominance it has over the country. You can't cover late capitalism over with makeup anymore, plus you're richer than God and more handsome. Saying that we've let things get so out of hand, so out of control in this age of late stage capitalism that there is really no longer any way for the ones controlling commerce and controlling these things to hide behind PR. They're blatantly exploiting citizens and have become richer than God doing so. They're kind of unstoppable. The actual term late capitalism was originally coined by German economist Werner Sombart in his publication Der Modern Capitalismus, and has had a couple of different interpretations and meanings over the last century or so. But in America, the term is generally used in reference to a sort of radical corporate capitalism. That's what we like to refer to it as. So Cheekface is saying that to some extent, the common person is up against this seemingly undefeatable behemoth that is corporate America. There's an incredibly satirical and incredibly funny line in the second verse that supports this, saying, "We don't have to march long, just until we're over injustice, patriarchy, and American imperialism," which, means we'll be marching for a while. The writing on the song approaches this idea of mass protest against social injustice from a couple of different angles. It's sincere in its progressive message, but it also kind of finds time to poke holes in the misguided perspectives that kind of comes from some areas of American liberalism, but at its core is an addressing of complacency. Being the dry heat, it's hot, but at least it's a dry heat, and how intentions need to be set when attempting to restructure the systemic failures of the American government while avoiding the pitfalls of the individual desire to only fix problems that apply to you. Utopia isn't free green juice, and like Greg Cat says, the song is about overthrowing America's terrible government, but from a sideways perspective.
Don't wanna hug, don't wanna talk to a dude, man, I'll be in the corner, bring me water and food.
Best Life is track number 2 on Cheekface's second album, Emphatically No, and one of my favorite songs that they've ever released. Right away, what I love about this song is how in true Cheekface fashion, it portrays an abstract and sort of reality-adjacent scenario, depicting the landscape of a very new sort of post-information age in America. In the future, everyone will be my friend for 15 minutes and will all look amazing when we're in portrait mode. Play on the famous phrase allegedly spoken by Andy Warhol. It wasn't. It probably wasn't. In the future, everyone will be world famous for 15 minutes is one of my favorite lyrics of the song because it does such a good job, in my opinion, of examining how social interaction has changed in the area of not only the internet, but a highly accessible, widely used internet. It's a bit of a silly line, but it's also realistic. Think about how many digital personalities you have briefly encountered during your adventures through social media comments and niche forum posts, momentarily connecting with and then parting, never to be seen again. The line about looking amazing in portrait mode also further perpetuates this idea in a shift of the lenses we view ourselves from. Fast forward to the incredibly catchy chorus, and the song becomes warm and hopeful in a way. I think that when you have a song that is sort of discussing an imminent technology-oriented future, then the songwriting tends to sort of take this path, an avenue of being bleak and kind of cautionary in a way, but Cheekface doesn't do that, and I appreciate their approach of just understanding how weird everything is now, in an awkward, comforting way. Like we're finally getting our footing in this new wave of behavior and human interaction, kind of finally understanding how to operate within the boundaries that it sets. The phrase, "it's your best life if it's the life that you're living right now," is a genuine mantra in a world of mentally degrading short-form content or hyper-aggressive internet dogma and fast-paced technological innovation. It can be hard to live in the moment and try to keep up with everything, chasing your best life. But Cheekface says, hey, if you're alive and you're doing what you can right now, despite everything going on, that is your best life. I don't know. Some of you may view the general message differently than me, but I do kind of view this as comforting. In the future, no compliments are begrudgingly given, and we are not pathologically incapable of sincerity. I wrestled with this one for a bit. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to make of it or what I should make of it, but I will certainly do my best. I think that I've come to a conclusion I'm happy with. This kind of feels like an after the storm situation where things have settled down and we kind of come out on the other side of whatever this is, much less performative than what is demanded today. We don't feel a social obligation to begrudgingly give compliments we don't mean anymore. We'll be able to detach ourselves from this onslaught of performative behavior that is a result of a plugged-in world to an extent where we're truly able to be sincere with our words and actions. There's no ulterior motives. We're not looking for something to gain, which once again compels me to believe that this song is hopeful in nature, sort of portraying this future, looking ahead and being able to see past how overwhelming everything is and understanding that we'll be able to adapt and that it's okay. And yeah, I mean, the beginning of the chorus kind of feels timid in a way, attempting to socially withdraw from the chaos, but that makes sense. We don't always want to be in the middle of it. Even if it's not bad, that doesn't make it not overwhelming in a sense. When do we get a break? But hey man, at the end of the day, I'm getting a Gucci logo stick and poke because it's cheaper than therapy.
Everything is gray now. Do you like it? You know I only want it. If you want it, whatever you need now, we can make it out of plastic.
Finally, we arrive at Plastic, a single from their newest album, It's Sorted, and my favorite song of 2023. It just beat out the rest for me. It's my favorite. What can I say? But why? what we're fucking here for. Once again, Cheekface, in a pretty down-to-earth, non-pretentious, non-preachy way, is able to talk about how industry and society is rapidly moving towards a bland efficiency, benefiting corporate demand over humanity and social intimacy. I am people-pleasing and I follow the rules. I am bending over backwards doesn't make me look cool. Who modeled the behavior in which I engaged, a permission structure built on what you took and what you gave. From the first verse, it's actually pretty direct in terms of the writing that Cheekface typically employs and the lyricism they use, which matches the song thematically pretty well. What I get from this is that Cheekface is recognizing that the human condition has become a bit of a homogenized experience, where we are trading personality, character, and color in our lives in exchange for a passive participation in a mechanical and regimented society. We are giving up some part of our autonomy for functionality, following the rules and engaging in a blueprint of behavior laid out by somebody that's not us. The chorus, naturally, expands upon this. They're words of complacency. If you want this, then I want it. If you like it, I do. Everything can be mass-produced with a nondescript material catering to the lowest cost point and the highest price point. Whatever you want, we can make it out of the same shit. The second verse has this line, which I absolutely love. Sure, maybe you'll not be getting exactly what you ordered, but it's been tantalizingly battered and fried, so we know you'll like it. Remove individual and personal need, and then cater to the lowest common denominator. When I first heard the song, I felt like the shift in songwriting style was pretty immediately noticeable. Not too out of character, but different. And I like it because it kind of feels like it's made up of this sort of somber urgency. There's genuinely a serious issue at hand here, and we are kind of losing what makes us us. And those are the 3 Cheekface songs that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about more, but I felt like we should keep things punctual and succinct. That makes sense to me. Maybe it'll change in the future. I feel like there's a lot to derive from what Cheekface is saying, not only on these 3 songs, but their entire discography. I think that they provide a very valuable lens to look at us through, look at ourselves through, understand ourselves as the individual, and then ourselves as a participant in a greater society, this collective sort of series of emotions that we all experience in some way. We find it hard to be articulate and verbalize exactly how we feel, and then Cheekface does it in such a abstract way that it kind of circles back around to making complete fucking sense to us. This is a shared experience that we have, and Cheekface has presented it in an accessible and digestible way. I hope you all liked this video, and I hope that we like this series. I'm a big lyric guy. I like writing, and I value writing a lot in music, and so I think it's fun to sort of analyze and discuss and have this conversation about writing that we think is cool or important or valuable, whatever. Leave some suggestions on artists whose lyrics we want to analyze together, because this isn't just me. I want you guys to participate too. Until next time, bye.